My brother got my fiancée pregnant. My family blamed me, so I cut them all out of my life. Ever since I was a kid, everyone in our family knew who the favorite was. Nobody talked about it openly, but it was obvious in every part of our lives, and the favorite definitely wasn't me. I'm 32 now, and my younger brother Mike is 29. But the dynamic in our family never changed. From early on, you could see how differently they treated us. If Mike broke something, like the time he destroyed our mom's favorite vase, somehow the blame still landed on me. "You're the older brother," they'd say. "You should have stopped him." But I wasn't even in the room when the vase broke. That didn't matter. Mike was too young to understand consequences, so the responsibility was always mine. If we both achieved something, his victory always seemed bigger. I remember in 5th grade I won a math competition. My mom just said congrats quickly and went back to cooking dinner. But when Mike got a participation certificate in a soccer tournament, they threw a celebratory dinner, invited everyone, and acted like he'd won a championship. "You're not going to be upset, right?" she asked me. "Mike tried so hard," was always the excuse. Mike was younger. Mike was more sensitive. Mike had it harder. And me? I was the older brother. I was the one who had to understand. And it continued into adulthood. When I got into a prestigious university on a scholarship, my parents barely reacted. They didn't even bother visiting my dorm or helping me move. I still remember packing everything alone, taking the bus, and feeling that bitter taste in my mouth. It felt like nothing I did ever mattered to them. But when Mike got into a local community college, it was a whole different story. They threw a party, invited everyone, and even gave him a car. "He fought so hard for this," my dad said. "Nobody gave me a car. I biked 5 kilometers to work every day and saved every penny to buy my books." Mike dropped out in his first semester, and nobody was disappointed. "Don't worry, sweetheart," my mom said. "You just need time to find your path." After that, they started funding every one of his entrepreneurial adventures. He opened an online store that went bankrupt in 3 months. He tried to build an app but never finished it. Then he started selling sports gear, another failure. And I just watched as my parents poured thousands of rees into those doomed attempts. One day I asked why they kept supporting him, and my mom just waved her hand like it was obvious. "Mike hasn't found himself yet. He has so much talent. We need to help him discover it." But I never got that kind of support. I paid for my education, worked after classes, and when I asked for even a little help, I heard the same thing as always. "You're independent. That's great for you. It will make you stronger." I wish I could say it didn't affect me, but it did. No matter how hard I tried, I always felt like I wasn't enough. Like I was never good enough. Not for them, maybe not for anyone. That difference in treatment left scars. It made me doubt my worth. It made me wonder if I'd ever feel like I measured up. And that's when Sarah came into my life. We met at a party for one of Mike's friends. I almost didn't go because I was exhausted from work, but Mike insisted. "Come on, relax a little, there'll be cool people there." Sarah caught my attention right away. She had a natural charisma that lit up any room. She was laughing at some silly story, and her laughter was so contagious that I found myself smiling along without even knowing why. We started talking near the drinks table. She asked if I was Mike's friend. "I'm his older brother," I said. "Oh, interesting," she said with a sideways smile. "Mike never mentioned you. Why are you hiding?" The conversation flowed easily, but it also had depth. At some point, I realized I'd shared more with her in 1 hour than I had with anyone else in months. Sarah had this gift of making you feel seen, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like someone truly listened to me. We started dating, and it was the best decision of my life. With her, everything felt light and natural. She supported me, celebrated my wins, and for the first time, I felt valued, not for what I did, but for who I was. A year later, we decided to move in together. It was a big step, but I was sure about us. We built our own little world in that apartment. Nights watching shows, long talks in the kitchen, making plans for the future. Those were the best years of my life. On our 4th anniversary, I decided to take the next step. I'd been saving money for months to buy a ring. I knew she would love it. Platinum with a small diamond, simple, elegant, exactly her style. That night, I was a nervous wreck when I proposed. We were walking through the park where we'd had our first kiss, and I got down on one knee. Sarah covered her mouth, her eyes full of tears. "Yes," she said. And for the first time in my life, everything felt right. We decided not to rush the wedding. We wanted to plan everything properly, our way. No debt, no loans, only what we could afford. We worked extra hours, canceled vacations, and poured everything into our dream of a future together. When we announced our engagement, I thought my family would finally be happy for me. They always said I needed to find a good woman, but their reaction was disappointing. My mom forced a small smile and said, "Well, congrats, I guess." Hope it works out, my dad muttered. Good luck with that, he added. And Mike stood in a corner with a strange smile on his face. It wasn't happiness. It was something more predatory, like he'd spotted an opportunity. After that, Mike started taking way too much interest in my relationship with Sarah. He always found an excuse to talk to her, asked weird questions, and made comments that made my skin crawl. You're lucky, you know, he'd say. Not everyone can handle someone so serious. Or, you could have found someone better, but hey, if you're happy, right? Sarah laughed it off, saying he was just making dumb jokes, and I tried not to care, but every time he said something, I felt a chill down my spine. Back then, I thought Mike was just being childish. Now I see that was the beginning of something far worse. 4 months before the wedding, I started noticing changes in Sarah. She wasn't that light, smiling woman anymore, excited about the future. She was distant, anxious, and it started worrying me. It began with her phone. She started using it more than usual, and whenever I walked into the room, she'd lock the screen or hide it. Who are you talking to so much? I asked one day. Work stuff, she answered without even looking at me. I wanted to trust her, but it was hard. Every time she came home late, my suspicion grew. Her excuses sounded rehearsed. I stayed late at the office, she'd say, but I could smell a faint scent of wine and a men's cologne that wasn't hers and wasn't mine. I tried to convince myself it was just stress. We were working so much to save up for the wedding. I figured it could be affecting her, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. A month after things started changing, I noticed something else. Sarah had a different glow. She smiled more. Her appetite changed. It took me a few weeks to connect the dots, but when I realized it, it hit me like a bolt of happiness. Sarah was pregnant. It's destiny, I thought. I was over the moon. To me, it was a sign that our future was falling perfectly into place. I didn't tell her I'd already noticed. I wanted to wait for her to tell me. But when she finally sat beside me one night, I knew a bomb was coming. Her eyes were full of tears, and her hands were clenched so hard her knuckles were white. I need to tell you something, she began, her voice trembling. My heart stopped. I'm pregnant, she said, barely above a whisper. And then, after a pause that felt like eternity, she added, But the baby isn't yours. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I heard them, but I couldn't process them. It was like the floor vanished beneath me. What do you mean? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. Sarah started talking, her voice choked with tears and guilt. She said the baby was Mike's. I only caught pieces of the explanation. She said it started at the engagement party. Mike cornered her while I was busy talking to guests. He told her she was making a mistake marrying me, that I didn't value her, and that she deserved more. You don't appreciate me, he told her. She cried. She said I'd never understand her the way he did. He preyed on her insecurities, fed her doubts until she believed him. I found out he promised her everything. He told her I would never be able to give her the attention, the love, the life she deserved. I was an idiot, she said. I don't know why I believed him. I couldn't listen anymore. Rage, betrayal, shock, everything exploded inside me. I stood up and said, Pack your things and get out. She sat there for a moment trying to say something, but I wasn't hearing her anymore. After she left, I called Mike. He answered immediately, like he'd been waiting. What did you do? I yelled. At first, he tried to downplay it, saying it had been a drunken mistake, that it only happened once and didn't mean anything. But when I pressed him, his tone changed. Maybe if you were a better fiancé, this wouldn't have happened, he snapped. My blood boiled. I grabbed my keys and drove straight to his place without thinking about what I'd do when I got there. When I pulled up, I saw my parents already outside waiting. My mom had her arms crossed. My dad let out a tired sigh like he was exhausted just thinking about the conversation. We need to talk, my mom said in that teacher-like voice she'd used on me my whole life. I didn't even get a chance to speak. She launched into a lecture. Mike told us everything. He didn't want this to happen. Sarah seduced him. I froze. What? I managed. She seduced him, my mom repeated, as if that explained everything. He was a victim of the situation. A victim? My brother, who destroyed my life knowingly, was now the victim. This isn't his fault, my dad added. You know how he is. He's sensitive about these things. I stared at them, unable to believe what I was hearing. He's my brother, not a child. He knew exactly what he was doing, I shouted. But they'd already chosen a side. To my parents, Mike was innocent, and they demanded I forgive him. He's your brother. Family is what matters most, my mom said, with that tone of someone declaring an absolute truth. You can't let this destroy our family. And then she said the thing that broke something inside me. You need to support Sarah and the baby. She's pregnant. It's your responsibility to help her right now." I almost lost my breath from rage. "Responsibility?" I nearly screamed. "That child isn't mine. And after what they did, I don't owe anyone anything." My mom looked offended, like I'd said something outrageous. "You're being too harsh. We all make mistakes," she said. "You're the older brother. You need to set an example. Support them." Support them? I was so stunned by the twisted logic that I didn't even know how to respond. In the days that followed, they wouldn't leave me alone. My mom texted things like, "We're waiting for you to come to your senses. Mike is devastated. He didn't mean to hurt you." My dad called and said, "Everyone messes up. This is normal in a family. Talk to him." But the worst part was when they pulled the rest of the family into it. Aunts and uncles started calling, not even knowing the whole story, but full of opinions. "You have to forgive your brother. This is just family drama. Everyone goes through this." "She's pregnant," a cousin said. "That baby is innocent. You need to think about the future." It felt like no one understood, or no one wanted to understand, that I'd been betrayed by the two people I trusted most, my brother and my fiancée. They destroyed everything, and my whole family decided the problem was me. "You're tearing this family apart," my mom screamed one day when I refused to talk to Mike and Sarah. "You're not giving them a chance to fix it." That's when I lost all hope that they'd ever see how wrong they were. After hearing my parents demand that I forgive Mike and even support Sarah, I realized I couldn't keep contact with them anymore. Every interaction left me furious and shattered. I made the difficult decision to cut them all out of my life. The first step was changing my phone number. I didn't want to deal with calls and messages blaming me for destroying the family. I moved out of the apartment I shared with Sarah, found a new place, and started therapy. It wasn't easy, but I knew I couldn't handle that mess alone. But my family didn't get the message. At first, they tried calling from unknown numbers. When that didn't work, they started showing up near my new place. One day I saw my mom sitting in her car across the street, staring at my window like she was waiting to see me. I called the police, but she drove off before they arrived. When they realized I was avoiding them, their approach got worse. One afternoon during my lunch break, I saw my mom and Mike in the parking lot near my car. They were waving, trying to get my attention. When I walked closer, my mom shouted, "You can't ignore us. We're your family. We're your family." I tried to walk past them, but she stepped in front of me. "Your brother and his child need you. How can you be so heartless?" I stopped, took a deep breath, and said as calmly as I could, "That's not my child. I don't owe you anything. Leave." That's when Mike snapped. "Are you seriously acting like a child?" he yelled. "Just because you can't stand someone being better than you. You've always been a loser." I clenched my fists, but didn't answer. I turned around and went back inside while they kept yelling, drawing attention from everyone walking by. But it didn't end there. A few days later, a coworker approached me with a worried expression. "Are you okay? Your mother came here," she said, "and she told us you were refusing to help your family." I was shocked. I found out my mom had gone to my workplace, telling stories about how I'd abandoned the family. She even showed pictures of Mike and Sarah to my coworkers. "He's neglecting his responsibilities," she told one of them. "His brother is going through a hard time and he just turns his back." It was humiliating. They were trying to destroy my reputation to force me to give in out of guilt. That's when I realized it couldn't continue. The next day, I went straight to HR and explained everything. My boss was understanding and even suggested increasing security to prevent them from showing up again, but that wasn't enough. I filed for a restraining order against Mike and my parents, and as expected, their reaction was exactly what I imagined. My mom called mutual friends and relatives saying I was unstable and exaggerating. They even hired an expensive lawyer to try to overturn the order. In court, they tried to make it look like it was just a little family argument. "We just want to talk to our son," my mom cried to the judge. "This is so unfair. We're his family." But I had proof. I presented messages where they threatened me and videos of the scenes they caused in the company parking lot. The judge didn't buy it. "The restraining order remains in effect," he said. It was a relief, but not exactly a victory. I knew my parents and Mike weren't going to stop trying to destroy my peace. I thought things might calm down. After the order was granted, I began rebuilding a routine. I went back to work normally, started seeing friends, and even returned to the gym. Working out became my refuge, a way to release the stress that still haunted me. I'd put on my headphones, play my favorite playlist, and focus on the weights. But one night, that peace shattered. It was an ordinary day. I'd finished warming up and was about to start bench press when I saw a familiar face in the mirror. Mike. He was standing in the doorway with that arrogant, smug smile that always got under my skin. I couldn't believe it. The restraining order made it clear he wasn't allowed to get near me. I tried to focus on my workout, hoping he'd leave, but instead, He walked up and hovered right next to me, acting like it was a coincidence. I forced myself to ignore him, but Mike was never the type to back off. "Well, look who's here," he said when I racked the bar. "The family hero. So, how's life as the victim?" I took a deep breath and stayed silent. I moved to another machine, but he followed. "What, you're just going to stay quiet?" he taunted. "Come on, you act so righteous, but we both know who the real loser is here." I clenched my teeth, repeating in my head, "Don't react. He wants to provoke you." But then he said the thing that broke me completely. "You couldn't even keep your woman." He sneered, stepping closer. "Sarah deserved better, and she got it. You should thank me for saving her from you." I balled my fists, turned to him, and said through my teeth, "Do you hear yourself? This gym isn't yours. This life isn't yours. Get out." But Mike just smiled and leaned in. "And what are you going to do? Hide behind your lawyers?" I tried to walk away, but he shoved me from behind. That was it. I spun around on instinct and punched him. I didn't truly want to, but the anger took over. We started fighting right there in the middle of the gym. People ran over, yelling for us to stop. Mike swung back, but I landed another hit until the staff managed to pull us apart. I was bleeding from my eyebrow, and my shoulder hurt where I'd slammed into the bench. Mike, still wearing that stupid grin, wiped the blood from his mouth. "You're going to regret this," he said, staring me down. The next day, I got a notice. Mike had filed a lawsuit against me, accusing me of assault. It was so predictable I wasn't even surprised. His lawyer called mine, demanding compensation for physical and emotional damages. I looked at the bruise on my shoulder, a painful reminder of how far things had gone. That incident made something clear. Mike was never going to stop. He was determined to destroy me, no matter what it cost. The fight at the gym was the final straw. It was clear my family, especially Mike, was never going to change. I was done trying to save any remaining piece of that toxic relationship. I made a decision. I was going to leave everything behind and start over. I was moving to Seattle. It wasn't an easy choice. Leaving meant cutting ties, not only with Mike and my parents, but also with the life I'd built, even the good parts. I spent days sorting my things, selling or donating almost everything. When I sealed the last box, it felt like I was letting go of the weight of years of pain and disappointment. When I locked the apartment door for the last time, I felt a bittersweet mix of relief and sadness. But deep down I knew. It was the right thing. After I announced my move, something unexpected happened. Emma, Sarah's sister, reached out. "I'm so sorry for everything my sister did to you," her first message said. I never expected anyone from Sarah's side of the family to take my side, but Emma became an ally. We talked, and she apologized 1,000 times. She said she was shocked by what happened too. "She made a terrible mistake," Emma said. But Mike manipulated her, used every insecurity she had. She even offered to help me move, but I politely declined. I needed to do it on my own. To my surprise, Sarah's parents also wrote to me. They sent a sincere letter expressing shock and sadness. "We have no way to justify what she did," they wrote, "but we always considered you a man of character. We deeply regret the pain this caused you." Their words were unexpected, but comforting. For the first time in a long time, I felt like not everyone around me wanted to tear me down. My cousin Amy also stepped in. She grew up watching my parents give everything to Mike, and she never hesitated to tell the truth. "This was going to happen sooner or later," she posted online. "Years of favoritism and covering for him created a monster." Amy's public post made several relatives change their minds. She became my voice in places where I no longer had the strength to speak. Her support meant more than she'll ever know. And then came the most unexpected moment of all. Sarah herself messaged me. It was long. It started with, "I know you probably hate me, but I need to apologize." She admitted Mike had manipulated her insecurities and exploited doubts she already had. She said he was always there, telling her he understood her like no one else, until he convinced her I didn't value her. "I was weak and stupid," she wrote. "I know I destroyed everything and I have no excuse." She ended by saying she hoped I found happiness, even if it wasn't with her. I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me felt a kind of relief, a sense of closure, but I also knew her words didn't erase the damage. I replied briefly, "I wish you the best, but I can't have any connection to you anymore." Cutting off my family was the hardest decision of my life. I spent weeks replaying it all in my head, remembering my childhood, the moments when we still seemed like a real family. But every time I thought about what had happened in the last few months, them supporting Mike, ignoring my pain, showing up at my job, I remembered I had no other choice. Cutting those ties felt like surgery without anesthesia, unbelievably painful, but necessary. I stopped replying to messages, blocked numbers, and even deleted old photos so I wouldn't wake up in the middle of the night feeling that bitterness. It was my way of taking back control of my own life. Seattle became my refuge. I found a small, cozy apartment with big windows facing a quiet park. It was everything I needed to rebuild. At my new job, I met people who knew nothing about my past or the chaos I'd left behind. Their kindness and sincerity reminded me that not every relationship comes with demands or manipulation. Little by little, I started trusting again. I even began attending company events, something I used to avoid like the plague. It felt good to belong to a group where no one judged me or compared me to anyone else. One day, walking around the city, I passed an animal shelter. I don't even know what made me go in, but something pulled me inside. That's where I met Max, a big Labrador, kind of clumsy, with messy fur and eyes so expressive they melted my heart. When he came up to me, wagging his tail and sat at my feet, I knew it. He was coming home with me. Max became my safe place. On hard days, when memories of my family or Sarah came rushing back, he was there, wagging his tail, nudging my hand for attention, asking for pets, or flopping onto my lap. He reminded me that happiness could be simple, and that healing was possible. Through all of this, I understood one thing. Family doesn't have to be blood. Family is who respects you, supports you, and values you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. Therapy helped me let go of the guilt and insecurity I'd carried for so long. I stopped blaming myself for my parents' favoritism or Mike's behavior. Their choices were never my responsibility, and I didn't have to carry that burden anymore. I also learned to set boundaries and prioritize my well-being. Walking away from toxic relationships wasn't easy, but it was the only way to find real peace. Today, when I look back, I have no regrets. Yes, it hurt to cut ties with my family, but it was also the most freeing decision of my life. I built a new life surrounded by good things and people who truly care. On weekends, Max and I explore the trails around Seattle, and I started feeling a joy I hadn't felt in years. My life isn't perfect, but it's mine, and that's what truly matters. If you enjoyed this story, support the channel by subscribing, leaving a like, and turning on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Your support really helps the channel grow. Thank you for being here.